means move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me. Welcome to Primary Technology, the show about the tech news that matters. It's our pre-WWDC show. So we're going to go through all the rumors, what we actually expect to see announced next week at WWDC, and our hopes and dreams. I actually have some feature lists from last year that came true in retrospect and some that I'm still waiting on. Jason has some thoughts as an app developer, and we have a bunch of listener and viewer hopes and dreams for DubDub as well. This episode is brought to you by NordLayer, and you, all the members who support us directly. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Robles, joined by journalist Jason Aiton. How's it going,
We're still
Jason?
doing that, huh?
We're still doing it. And we got a lot of it today.
I just want to be clear that, you really have to become a member and go listen to last week's bonus episode because, or not bonus episode,
the
pre-show.
Unedited feed. Yeah,
because
exactly.
Otherwise it doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
Because I just want to be clear, I'm not asking Stephen to call me a journalist.
Not at all. Not at all. But you're also not a leaker. So do you know where that quote comes from? By all means.
I do.
Yes.
It's from The Devil Wears Prada.
Yes, that's right.
But the only reason I know that is because they just made a sequel.
That's right.
And I was talking about the sequel, and no one in my family had an idea that this was even a movie, and so we had to watch it.
The first one? They didn't know the first one?
The first one. They just like, what is it? Well, I mean, like, how would my kids know?
That's
and
true.
My wife is not really a Devil Wears Prada kind of gal, so I was like, we should watch this.
She's more Louis Vuitton.
She's like, why is Cruella de Vil in it? I'm like, exactly. That's exactly the case.
She's very good, Cruella de Vil. Also, so we have 5-star reviews, and I just want everybody to know that Jason did not know this reference. Podcast 728 from the USA basically quoted Pinky and the Brain in their review. And Jason didn't know what Pinky and the Brain was.
I had no idea. I'd never heard of it before.
Which blew my mind. So please leave us a 5-star rating review. Do you know what Pinky and the Brain is? Because I was well acquainted.
And if you do, have you watched The West Wing? Don't ask me why. Just I want to know those two things.
They somehow are related. And Luke Ireland said that featuring journalist Jason Aiton and some other guys is a great show. I had to skip the first word because I'm not saying that word anymore.
Yes.
So I said, we'll see if I get the rest of the show. Thank you for those 5-star reviews. And I made a terrible mistake last week. I said Uruguay, and I mentioned it was in Central America. I don't know why I did that. That was a geographical brain fart.
Faux pas.
Faux pas. So it's South America. South America will be represented by our polar bear and medieval knight pin by being in Uruguay. And so I'm waiting for a picture on that. But I have some exciting pictures from the pin traveling the world right now. Because Theo from the UK got his pin. And that pin, you got a picture right here in front of the UK flag. There it is. So the medieval knight traveling around. And Andrew made the pin got it all the way to Japan. Here's our pin at Shibuya Crossing in Japan. And then also our pin in Nintendo Tokyo. We're there. We're in Asia. We're in Europe. Soon to be Africa, South America. We just need Antarctica. Everybody, somebody, we need your help. We need your help. We're in all 7 to 8 continents. Very fun. All right, so we're going to do a big dub show today. Our hopes and dreams, what we think we're really going to see, and then we'll see who's right next week. But I did want to a couple news bits. Did you see this Shift robots thing? Did you see this video?
No.
So this was announced, this was Friday last week, and Shift basically says we're going to clean your house for free. This is in New York City right now. They're like, listen, we'll come to your house. We will clean it for free. What is the trade? What do you think the trade-off is, Jason, since you hadn't heard about this?
Well, I did just look at a tweet about it. And
okay.
Hold on.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. They want, in exchange, we record the cleaning.
That's right.
So what they want is for you to send a robot into the dirtiest corners of your life and capture it for perpetuity.
Right. So, well,
no,
to be clear, what this service is, it's actual human beings wearing a camera that will go to your apartment or home in New York City and clean your house for free. In exchange, they are recording the entire time to send this as training data so that one day robots can do these same jobs.
This is worse. This is not robots that are going into the worst, dirtiest corners of your life. These are actual people.
Actual people.
With cameras.
And they say any personal information is anonymized, and anything they come across, you don't have to worry about that.
But it's still in the human's brain.
Well,
it might be anonymized on the server, but it's still, there's a person.
That is true. But the purpose is because we need a lot of data for how to wash dishes and load different dishwashers And I imagine some of those dishwashers in New York City are probably 2 dishes wide. And so, you gotta get them all. You gotta train it all. So, yeah, Shift. All you need, you can get your house cleaned for free in New York City if you're willing to just have a random person wear a camera and do it.
I don't think it's worth it.
I don't know. We'll see. There are a bunch of people asking questions and asking for more information that wants to do it. So I don't know. I would not do it. I mean, I would sooner have the Neo X1 robot come in my house and do some stuff with just a real person in VR, but then say, don't only go to this room. You know what I mean? Like, don't go to bedrooms.
Don't go over there.
Stay in the kitchen. Stay in the living room.
here.
If you cross this threshold, I'm going to kick you. Like,
Self-destruct.
let's just be real.
Kick you.
I'm going to kick you.
Yeah. No.
So there was that. That. And then one other quick news bits. So Nvidia, they actually had a big event this morning or early this morning. We're recording on Monday, in case you realize this is kind of an episode at a time. But they recorded and they announced a super chip. So there's a super chip now, where I forget what they call it. I just had the MacRumors article up, but this might be coming to Windows PCs. I was hoping to read this Axios article, but it's of course behind a paywall.
If you put it in the reader mode, you can see the whole thing. That's so weird that that's a thing.
No, I can't. Look at this. This is what reader mode
because you're
shows
using
me.
Safari. If you were using a real browser, you'd be able to see.
I'm gonna flip a table. Listen to me. This is Axios. We don't have time to talk about monetization and modern journalism, but the fact that I can't read a single Medium article or any Axios article at all, it just feels like it's not sustainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
anyway,
I agree.
I'm not going to put that Axios link in the show notes because nobody can read it. But okay, so this is the new chip. This is trying to take on Apple Silicon, the RTX Spark. And I saw the video. They basically showed it like fusing 2 chips together, kind of like Apple talks about the Ultra versions of the chips. But it was announced by Jensen Huang, and it's going to be made for AI agents. Made for AI agents. It's going to be a super chip. And we might see Windows laptops powered by NVIDIA chips soon. So there you go.
Yeah, because, Windows laptops powered by ARM chips is going so well for them.
Is it? I have no idea.
No, it's not at all.
Okay, I have no idea how that's
Windows on ARM, as far as I know, is not like great.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, NVIDIA chips though, people like them. A lot of people buying them.
People like them.
All right, let's talk about WWDC. First of all, journalist Mark Gurman tweeted this, and I thought it was interesting. Kelsey Peterson, who was the announcer of Apple Intelligence 2 years ago at WWDC, she just started at OpenAI. So she will not be making an appearance during the keynote on Monday talking about Apple Intelligence. She's never going to get to redeem all the things she announced didn't come true, but maybe they will now. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Kelsey Peterson now at OpenAI. She was the one that announced all the Apple Intelligence stuff that didn't come 2 years ago. So there's that. But I want to go through some of the rumors that have come out. So Rumor Roundup, and we're going to kind of give is this actually going to happen or not? Because, there's a lot of things. And there's a lot of rumors that come out that actually don't come true. Spoiler. A lot of things from journalist Mark Gurman that may or may not come right now. So number one, the better personalized Siri, which will be, and the personalized Siri is like the semantic index that Apple talked about 2 years ago, where you can ask it, what time do I need to leave to pick up my mom from the airport? And Siri's going to reach in, and Apple Intelligence reach into your text messages, get what information there, reach into your email, look at your contacts, and we'll be able to, pull all that information together and just tell you the number, tell you what time you need to leave, because it just knows all the things. And in addition to, being a personalized Siri, well, let's rate this. Number one, the personalized Siri. Are we going to see that this year actually come out?
So this is complicated, Stephen,
Uh-huh.
because I think the answer is yes, but I don't think it's going to be what we saw in 2024.
How do you think it's going to be different?
I think it will be the minimum viable product version of that, because essentially what they were promising back then was what Claude can do for you if you give it access to enough information.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like if Claude can access your messages, it could 100% do this for you. Right?
That is true.
But I think that there is this inherent tension between privacy and making products that work in this space, right? Like, I don't know that you can have both of them, because I think that the guardrails that Apple is going to put on it is going to make it limited. Because, for example, like the goal here, like sandboxing sort of defeats this. I know that there are ways to allow apps to share information and stuff, but I'm just not sure, because really they have to have the app intents work.
Well, but they could also do personalized Siri stuff. I mean, there could be caveats, like if you use Spark and not Mail.
Yeah, that's not going to work. You can't do that.
That is going to, I didn't even think about that challenge over these last 2
because
years.
here's the thing, the people who care the most about this as early adopters are the people who are least likely to be using the Mail app and whatever, right?
Apple Notes or whatever.
Right. I know of an app you could use instead of Apple Notes. It's great.
You should adopt whenever API comes out. Yeah, the app intents though. Well, so better personalized Siri. You're saying yes with caveats.
I think they will talk about a personalized version of Siri. They may not use those exact words. I think they will talk about the new version of Siri and how it uses personalized intelligence, which is the thing Craig Federighi said was a thing that wasn't a thing. I think they're going to talk about all of that. But I don't know that it's going to be the whole, you could have a conversation with it and it's like, hey, what time is the flight landing? And will we have enough time to get to our reservation? Like the number of things that have to be able to work for it to do. And it has to just not hallucinate. And be like, oh, yeah, you're having dinner over there.
That is important.
So I think there will be a thing. I'm not convinced it will be the promise that they made in 2024.
Interesting.
I'm like a 4 on the... They're going to talk about a personalized intelligence in like some version.
4 out of 5.
Yeah. I'm like a 1.5 that it'll be good.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to agree with you because I feel I like your take on this, and I feel like that's probably what we're going to see. The other rumor that journalist Mark Gurman talked about was shortcuts. I should be able to open the app and just ask shortcuts to make you something. That it's just going to say, what kind of shortcut would you like to build? And that Apple Intelligence will just build it for you. I'm going to say that's not going to happen. I think that there will be Apple Intelligence maybe built into shortcuts that helps you suggest actions or maybe guides you. But the full prompting from scratch, I played with the Shortcut Studio app, which is a great effort at having AI make shortcuts for you, and even Federico Viticci's Shortcuts Playground, which he spent 6 months, trying to make AI make these shortcuts. I don't think Apple, because it is unreliable, like both of those methods, the Shortcut Studio and Federico's Shortcuts Playground, they're very good, but they still fail in the last 10%. They don't connect some variables. If there's ever like a repeat with each action, it doesn't pick the right information usually. And so you always have to do that last 10%. And I don't maybe Apple will have a better chance at the AI making them and connect everything accurate, but they're still beholden to the AI. And I don't think they're going to be using their personal one. Even if they're using Gemini, I mean, Claude and OpenAI right now can't do it. And those AIs are pretty good. And they still can't build a shortcut. So I think we are not going to see like an open prompt. And maybe I could be wrong. We'll see, in less than a week. If I'm actually, but I think there might be some guidance, but you won't have like a make from scratch. What shortcut do you want? And it just do it. That's my prediction.
So you said, what are you saying, a 0?
I'm going to say a 0 on like prompt shortcut creation.
Okay. I'm going to say a 3 just because otherwise it's not as interesting if we agree on everything. But also, again, I think they're going to say something. It may not be the thing that you just described, but I think that Apple does this. It's like, see, we made the thing, and it's like, that's it. No, you made a thing you can say is the thing, but it's not the thing. And I think that that's going to happen here. But I also, what you were talking about is like the hard problem. It's like there's no way to just create an algorithm that just does this. You have to literally test for every possible edge case, and the problem is the edge cases are infinity. And so it's almost impossible. And then the thing is, they can get you 90% of the way, and someone like you can figure out the last 10%, and that's great. It saved you some time. You just have to tweak it or whatever. The whole point of, in theory, the whole point of shortcuts is I don't have to know anything. It's no code, right? Like no code software building is what this is supposed to be, and I think that that's going to be a problem. However, I don't think it matters. I don't think that this is going to expose shortcuts to more people anyway.
No, that's my job. And that will still be my job.
Sure.
And I'm safe. All good. All right, let's do something. I think we'll agree on this, but we'll see. Last week, I'll put the gift link once again, but you're running out of time if you want to read the gifted article.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, thankfully we're recording early. They're not going to hear this early though, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they still hear it on Thursdays.
You got 15 minutes. Go.
Yeah, exactly. Gurman said that there's going to be the standalone Siri app. I think this is accurate. I'm going to be a 5 out of 5. I think we're going to see a standalone Siri app where you can interact and chat with it, and you'll have your conversation here. You have history. I think this is accurate. What do you think? I thought we were
so.
On this.
You're saying 5?
Yeah, I'm saying.
I think we're supposed to be rating these, right?
Yeah. I'll say 5. 0 to 5. How sure? I don't know if you're going to give a 5 to anything, to be honest, but maybe we'll see.
I mean, the rumors make it seem like this is probably pretty likely. I just hate it. So
all right, we'll say you agree. I'll put you down for a 5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5. The pick your AI. This one I'm unsure about. So a lot of the rumors were right now there's the ChatGPT integration in Apple Intelligence. So if you want to choose that, you can ask Siri to ask ChatGPT or use ChatGPT in like image playgrounds. And then in iOS 27, you'll be able to choose between Gemini, Claude, and OpenAI, like behind the scenes. And so maybe that'll play into shortcuts, that can play into image generation, or just general queries. So when you ask the voice assistant something, you can tell it to go to Claude. This I'm not down. Like I'm not very sure about this. I'm gonna give this a 3 personally.
Why don't you think this is gonna? I mean, you already have the ability to log into your OpenAI account.
Well, one, I think the Gemini integration is not going to be surfaced to the user. I think the deal that they made with Google, Gemini is going to power more of the Apple Intelligence features, but I don't think that means they're going to put a Gemini login screen in settings to do that.
Yeah, but I think that this is different from that. I think that there is a model that they're using that's a Gemini model to power the underlying foundation model, but that is different. Right now Siri has one, right? It sucks, but they have one.
Yeah.
I think that this is more like, I love Claude. I just want to save all my requests in Claude to use when this on device is not capable of doing that. And so I think it's more likely than not that I think this is possibly a thing. I just think that they should be building a system that the only reason to do this is you're like, I just love Claude or I just love Gemini. And what I want is when I also then go to the Gemini app, all the conversations I had are just there.
But right now that doesn't even work with ChatGPT. Like your conversation.
But if they're going to build a Siri app for the same purpose, like it makes no sense that's if you're logged into one of those accounts that information wouldn't just be saved there. So
so you're saying like 4?
It's so hard because I think some of this stuff is so dumb. But
why do you think it's dumb?
I think this is a 4.
Why do you think it's dumb though?
I think the only reason this makes sense is if you can do what I just described.
Yeah.
If they're not going to do that, then the system should just decide what is the best model for this problem and not surface any of that to the users. It makes no sense.
I think the people who want to use these features probably also have a particular bent towards Claude or Gemini.
It's still just going to be wrapped up in Siri.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, what about Grammarly style Siri? One of the rumors is that right now writing tools exist and you can highlight, proofread, rewrite to be more professional or friendly, but that this is going to go even further and do like full grammar checking and stuff like that when you're writing, like in mail. Like it's just going to do it automatically, like Grammarly, basically, like in a web browser and stuff like that, and everywhere you type. This feels like I could see this in a keynote, them being like, yeah, now Apple Intelligence is going to take care of all your grammar. You're never going to misspell anything again. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to give it a 3. How about you?
Sure.
All right, we agree on 3. The next, so generated wallpapers, you can 100% do this right now with shortcuts and Apple Intelligence. I've made shortcuts that you can prompt and have built-in prompts, and you can have the image playgrounds action create a wallpaper that's in the right format and just set it as your wallpaper. Like you can totally do that. So I feel like them making it a feature that's built into like the lock screen, home screen customizer, be able to generate wallpapers with Apple Intelligence. I'm a 5 out of 5. I think we're going to see this. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for me to be thinking of these as how likely they are because I just want to talk about
You
How
can't
much
talk about how dumb everything is, Jason.
Okay.
People like this kind of stuff. What wallpaper do you use? Do you use the same wallpaper all day, every day, never change it?
Pretty much. I
What
have
is
like
it? Is it
two I
black?
cycle through.
Just a black screen?
Well, are you talking about on my home screen? Or are you talking about because like my home screen is the surface of the Steve Jobs Theater.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the lock screen is just the surface of the Steve Jobs Theater.
Okay.
So like, and then my home screen is just like brushed aluminum black. Yeah.
And it's been that way forever?
Yeah, and I would literally never change it. And I said it and I mean it.
Black like your soul. Okay, let's keep going.
No, it's because it makes it super easy to identify all of the things on it.
Okay, yeah.
Why would I want to put a picture of my kids and then cover them up with...
No, see, I do the pictures on my Apple Watch. I do pictures of my kids on my Apple Watch.
Okay, so then this is perfectly fine.
But I also like color on my home
I
screen.
hate that so much.
I vary my home screen wallpaper a lot. I use a lot of basic Apple guys wallpaper. Someone on social media thought I was the same as basic Apple guy. And I don't know if I have any way to prove this, but I'm not.
That would be the story of the century.
I have an entire text thread, and if he doesn't exist, it's just me talking to myself, and it'll be very troubling. I don't
Very
think
Fight Club.
Yeah, so I won't reveal anymore. But also, he had a great quote. He texted me. If you believe that he exists and that I am not him, he texted me this. He's working on some stuff, and he wanted to talk about vibe coding. And I want to know if you relate to this quote as a vibe coder yourself. He said, being a vibe coder is like being a 3-year-old trying to instruct an adult over the phone how to build furniture.
I actually think it is more like being an adult trying to instruct a 3-year-old to build furniture.
But the 3-year-old, namely the AI on the other end of the phone line, knows how to build an app more than us, like me and you. We don't know how to code. So you can't say the 3-year-old is on the other end. Yeah, I think it's, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was a pretty good analogy. Maybe not that we're not the 3-year-old. Maybe we're like 8 or 9.
I think I can go with it. I just don't think 3-year-olds care about building furniture, so there's a little bit of a disconnect for me.
Well, I just like the picture of like us talking on the phone to an AI. Be like, listen, put the button over here.
You can do that. You can call ChatGPT on the phone.
Oh yeah, you can.
I actually did that at a Christmas.
Didn't they shut that down? They shut that down though. They don't let you talk to it with WhatsApp or whatever.
Is that? Oh, I don't know. But I thought there's still like 1-800 call ChatGPT or whatever.
Oh, okay. That sounds right. All right, so for generated wallpapers, I put Stephen 5, Jason Meh. Visual intelligence improvements. This was interesting. So visual intelligence, right now, do you ever use it? You probably never use it.
Visual intelligence. I have maybe used it once or twice, but I actually think it's way better to just take a photo of something and then ask your photos what it is.
There is that. I use visual intelligence basically in the screenshot area. Like if there's a date on screen and I want to add it to my calendar, and those will go into our requests. I do it that way. Like I'll take a screenshot, the date automatically populates at the bottom. I can add it to my calendar and then X out so it doesn't save the screenshot. That I find like one of the most useful visual intelligence features, but I very rarely hold the camera control button to go into the visual intelligence mode and like look at a puppy breed. I don't do that. Just because I think more of the information that's useful to work with is what's on the phone screen rather than...
I think what you were saying is to look at a breed of puppy, but what
did I say?
Look at a puppy breed, but I just feel like that's it sounded
that's
like
weird,
you're using it as a verb and not a noun.
That's fine. Well, anyway, some of the visual intelligence improvements coming might be like health interpretation style things where you can point visual intelligence maybe at a lab report or results, and it'll give you some data on that. It'll, of course, tell you it's not a doctor. But business cards, this is something I've created 1,000 shortcuts for because people have always wanted it. Like looking at a business card, taking a picture, and then parsing the information into contacts, which shortcuts can kind of do. Like if you just say pull text from image, get phone number, get address, get URLs from the image, you can then parse that into a contact and make it. So yeah, visual intelligence just doing that right out of the gate seems pretty easy. Not easy, but it seems like very, very possible. And that feels like a feature that like Craig Federighi is going to show off at DubDub. Like, look, you could take a picture of a business card and just add it to your contacts. Yeah, I'm a 5 out of 5 for that. I think the health stuff too, probably coming too.
Sure.
Okay, great. Steven and Jason, 5 out of 5. Great. This was interesting. New camera stuff. So iOS 27, the camera app might get more customizable controls, which it kind of has this now, to be honest, like where you can move controls in and out of like that top bar or whatever, but that there'll be even more customizable controls, an advanced mode giving power or pro users be able to switch on the fly between certain things. Like you can already switch between pro, raw, or whatever, but maybe manual focus, things like that. Maybe this is a Sherlocking of some apps like Halide. Of course, Halide has a bunch of other features that will not be Sherlocked, I'm sure. But yeah, updated camera app. I feel like they're always updating that. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to update the camera app, and I'm sure it will have some of the things that we've seen. I don't think that it's going to have any impact on Halide because they still have to make the camera app absolutely dummy proof because it's the single most important feature on the iPhone.
Yes.
So it's the single most important feature on any piece of technology made.
We talked about it in the pre-show. I was at my kid's dance recital. I saw so many phones of people taking photos and videos with their phone. Number one, nobody touches the zoom numbers to change camera lenses.
I know, I hate it so much, Steven.
So do I. No, but no one does it. Everyone just pinches and zooms to frame the shot and then does it. And I wanted to just stand up in the dark. I said, everybody stop doing that. Stop.
All of the angels are getting hit by buses. Stop.
Stop. Every time. Like you have like these people with pro iPhones. Like I see they got the 3X, or not 3X. They got 2X, 4X. I'm like, hit one of those. Anyway.
We do not deserve this technology, Steven.
No, we deserve it. I use those lenses all the time. I hit 4X and then I started the video and it was pretty amazing. I posted on social media like the difference between like my seat versus even the 8X zoom. It's very good now. It's very good.
Especially with enough light.
That's the thing. But I was in a low light condition and it was still very good.
Yeah, but there was lights on the stage.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty light.
I'm not taking a picture of like pure darkness. Yeah. So camera thing. This is like a whose line is it anyway. The points don't matter. I'll say you and I are a 4 for updated camera.
No, that's a 5. They're gonna. It's a
it's
camera
5. Okay. Very
absolutely.
Good. We'll go with that. Now this part I have mixed feelings about because in addition to an updated camera app, they're going to put more Apple Intelligence or AI features in photos, like photo editing, which we already have, like cleanup and the subject removal, but we might see,
extend, enhance, and reframe.
Extend, enhance, and reframe, which enhance and
it'll allow you to generate additional content beyond the original frame.
That
it'll enhance just makes your photos pop a little more. That's whatever, fine. And then reframe is meant to let you shift the perspective of a spatial photo after the picture is taken, which is never going to be used because no one actually takes spatial photos. You just go in the Vision Pro and say make it a spatial scene, but no one who's not used a Vision Pro is ever going to take a spatial photo.
Well, I take spatial video sometimes, very rarely. But I will do that sometimes.
I don't even think I knew that was a thing. Spatial video?
Yes.
Oh, but isn't that like the weird, creepy thing that's just like in a little box?
Yeah,
that's weird.
I did it when I was at the skate park and we wanted to see what it would look like when my sons were like jumping off a ramp. And so we did it then. And I did it a couple times like at Christmas when we were like opening GIFs GIFs, because you could kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a cool feeling or cool. Anyway. I think they are going to add more of these photo features. I don't like the whole expanding the frame because then we're talking about generating content.
Yeah, but they're definitely going to do it. It's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do it. They're 5 out of 5. The AI health coach. So, Google Health and the Fitbit Air came out recently. And Apple already has the Workout Buddy, which is kind of this. Not really a coach per se. It's more like a motivational speaker saying, like, great job, which I don't think I've used Workout Buddy once. I mean, I've gone on walks, but it's never talked to me. It's like, you're still walking. Great job.
Usually it's like, do you want to pause your workout? I'm like, no, I'm still walking.
Right, exactly.
Am I not going fast enough?
Right, exactly. Don't just stop hassling me, Workout Buddy. But
like, you seem to be taking a break. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm just walking slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the AI, this feels again like the AI powered health coach. This could play into like AirPods feature. I can see them talking about this during the AirPods feature, where they may talk, you already got the health heart rate in AirPods Pro 3, AI-powered health coach, maybe giving you insights and trends, saying like, hey, maybe, don't get that frosted lemonade today. No, it's not going to say stuff like that, but,
I think that this is more like a 3. I think it's 50-50 whether this is going to, because we've heard stories that they've scaled back
Yeah.
Well, that's what the headline of this is. Some of their AI powered plans for health, and that's because it's tricky because you don't want to make a promise, right? They don't want to be like, okay, you seem to be walking slower and your heartbeat's going faster. Maybe you should go to the doctor, right? It's one thing when it's like AFib detection, which is like objective. It's like you have AFib, you should definitely go to the doctor. But I don't know. I think that there's a lot, and Apple is super cautious about this kind of thing.
That is true. I'm going to agree with you on the 3. It's iffy. It's iffy. More home screen tools, like the ability to undo and redo widget stuff. That feels long needed because sometimes you place a widget on that home screen and it just blows up everything. And so, yeah, maybe an undo, redo. I think there will be more home screen tools in general.
They always put more home screen tools because it's what 90% of people. That's what WWDC is. It's like, oh, cool, they made a new way for me to customize and ruin my home screen.
So we'll say 5 out of 5. Also, create wallet passes. There's been a lot of third-party apps that allow you to make a quasi pass in the wallet app, whether it was like a gym membership or a loyalty program. And if you have a QR code or a picture of it, that you can kind of make this like weird generic pass for it. And rumors are this is Mark Gurman at Bloomberg saying it's going to be an official thing. Like you can make wallet passes now from your stuff. This feels like 5 out of 5. I think this is coming. Yeah.
This is feels like the super low hanging fruit that they like to talk about because it's like, see, we did a thing, and you're like, I don't actually know what you did, but thanks so much.
That's it. That's it. I think and then there's some Mac features and more Apple Intelligence stuff like organizing Safari tabs and naming tab groups automatically. That feels like an easy Apple Intelligence. Sure, they'll probably do something like that. You agree?
Sure, I don't even know what this means, but because I don't use Safari, but sure.
I still can't believe that. Revamped AirPod settings. So rather than people, I guess, have complained that the AirPod settings are a little convoluted in settings apps. They're going to rework all that. Sure, settings change pretty often. I'm like,
yeah, but they don't usually get better. Let's just be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just changing, not necessarily. We're not saying better. Yeah, we'll do that. Enhanced autocorrect. My wife still complains about, and I experienced it too. Autocorrect on the iPhone is still struggling.
If they only do one thing, they have to do this, Steven.
They have to fix the keyboard. Do you still have do you experience issues like that?
Sometimes, but the number of posts I see on threads about it. And I don't know if people are just rage baiting, which is it's threads, so probably. Yeah. But this seems to be a widespread epidemic. Man, the number of people who are having this problem is pretty outrageous. I'd be embarrassed if I worked for Apple.
I see a lot of TikToks, not a lot, but I've seen some TikToks too where people just complaining about how they don't like their iPhone anymore, but it's because they have an iPhone 13. And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, Apple doesn't like that one either. You should get a new one.
But they don't want to do that. People are saying they don't want to buy a new phone. They just want to keep the phone that they have. And it's like, okay, but you do realize it's, how many years has it been? 14, 15, 16, 17. I mean, it's been 5 years since that phone came out. That's a pretty long time.
Yeah. I mean, it probably still works just fine. My son is rocking an 11 Pro, and it's great. Right. The only thing I hate about it is I constantly forget that you can't do touch the two things to get the ET phone home thing to AirDrop with a 11 Pro, where you bring the two phones together.
Oh yeah,
and it does AirDrop because I don't think it has NFC. No, it must have it because it has Apple Pay. But
yeah, but it doesn't have the name drop. It doesn't have the ultra wideband chip. That's what. Is that what it is?
I don't know, but I mean, I constantly forget that, but it still works fine. I mean, the battery's at 62%, but whatever.
Yeah, that happens. Okay, and last couple of things, and then we'll go into more of our personal hopes and dreams. iPadOS 27 may be having window refinement, which they changed the windowing last dub. I initially bemoaned the loss of slide over and split view, and then they added that back in future iPadOS 26 updates. Well, they might do even more window stuff, refining it even more. That probably feels like the 3-minute iPad segment is probably just going to be that. Here's some other window features and probably nothing else, which I'm going to be upset about because I'm wanting a lot of things on the iPad, which we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, sure.
I don't know what they're going to do, but this is definitely a 5 out of 5 because they do some kind of new iPad window thing every year.
That's the one thing they consistently change.
100% of the time, they're going to they're just going to change it because that way they can change it.
I will say it'd be nice if they streamlined Stage Manager versus windowing versus not, because I sometimes I wonder, like, is this Stage Manager? Is this just windowing? I feel like it's confusing, but
It does not have to be confusing. Just never turn on Stage Manager.
yeah, but the windowing. I want the windowing, and like that's when I tap that control in the control center, it just goes to Stage Manager. I think you have to tap and hold, and then you can choose like windowing specifically.
I use the windowing, and I don't go anywhere near Stage Manager.
But do you ever go into full screen app mode?
Sure, you just hit the little green.
Yeah,
button.
but there's a difference between that and actual full
right.
screen.
So leave it turned off.
Here's the
you
pro-
don't
here's
have
the
to
one
worry
problem.
about it.
Here's one bug, and I don't know if it's the app or iPadOS 26. I use universal control a lot from my Mac to my iPad for moving chapter artwork over for this show and moving audio files into Ferrite on the iPad. I do that every day for like Primary Tech Daily. And for some reason, Ferrite, if I'm in windowing mode and I try to drag a file using universal control from my Mac to my iPad, something weird happens and the Ferrite app like pops into some weird shape and I can't drag a file. So I have to go into full screen app mode just to drag a file into Ferrite, and then I will exit it. And so I basically have a shortcut automation where when Ferrite opens, go into full screen mode, and when Ferrite closes, go into Stage Manager. But I do, like, it's weird.
Why don't you just import it from iCloud? Like isn't it already in iCloud?
Way slower. I do this every day. Universal control, dragging it over into Ferrite, way faster.
Doesn't sound like you just described 15 minutes of rigmarole you have to do.
It's just a shortcut automation
work.
right now. I just would love to not have to have that automation so I can keep it in windowing mode. But it is way faster. Trust me. And I don't know what they're going to change. So last thing, I don't know what they're going to change about macOS, but just do something. Do something design-wise, some design tweaks. That's the rumors are that there's going to be some design tweaks or whatever. Do something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer they don't do anything, not because I think it's great, but because the history has not moved in a positive direction.
Listen, we're not going to have Alan Dye talking about liquid glass this year, so do you think we'll see Stephen LeMay?
But we're still going to have liquid glass.
Yeah, no, we're still going to have liquid glass. That's not going away a year later. Do you think we'll see Stephen LeMay during the keynote at all?
Sure.
You think so?
No, because they're not introducing a new interface design.
But they got to talk about. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we really only see Alan Dye when they do the dynamic island and they do liquid glass. Like I can't think of another time.
Okay, last prediction rating before we get to our wishes. Do you think they will announce a new app for one of the platforms? Periodically, we get something like the Journal app, and that gets a big, the moment.
Siri app. If they do the Siri app, then yes.
Okay, and when they do an app, they usually have someone announce it and talk about the design. That could be a place where they kind of stick Stephen LeMay, not in like a main featured part, but they're like, you can talk about the design in relation to this app kind of thing. Maybe.
It's going to be whoever's in charge of Siri.
All right, I'm going to say we're going to see Stephen LeMay. I'm going to say yes, and you say no, we're not going to see him.
Sure.
Okay, we'll see who's right. We'll see who's right. All right, so I've a lengthy wish list that we're going to jam through, and then we have a bunch of listener and viewer requests on social media that you guys have shared. We're going to talk about that as well. But before we do, I want to thank our friends at NordLayer. I'm going to share this landing page. I still love seeing this landing page because they got our podcast art. They got the deal right there, primary technology. They got everything. They do this right. They do our homepage right. But NordLayer, it is security for your small business, your big business, everything. It's a network security platform for modern teams across different work environments. It enables secure access to company systems with centralized control over users, devices, and network activity without additional hardware or complex infrastructure. I've been in several places where I've had to kind of work with the IT team, figure out how to be secure, but also empower everybody's devices to do the things they need to do. Finding the right system is tough. And you should just look at NordLayer because it's for everybody. It's for business owners to protect company data as your team works remotely. Stay compliant without slowing down operations. That's a big one. Don't slow down everybody working. Nobody likes that. It's also for IT admins where you can grant access based on identity, device, and context. For cybersecurity conscious in your business, block malware, phishing, risky domains, enforce security policies automatically, and more. Plus, every connection is encrypted. You get high-speed performance, dedicated secure gateways for traffic routing, site-to-site connectivity between offices. So let NordLayer handle all that rather than setting up some weird complex VPN. NordLayer can handle it all. Users verified with SSO and MFA. Unhealthy or non-compliant devices are blocked. cloud firewall enforcement, and a ton more. Like I said, you could block those malicious sites, risky downloads. So, people in the business, they might download something, they don't realize this email is phishing or whatever. Well, NordLayer can protect all of that. So here's what you do. You go to get an exclusive offer. You get 22% off NordLayer yearly plans plus 10% on top with the coupon code PrimaryTechnology10. You could try it risk-free. There's a 14-day money-back guarantee. You can go to that link in the show notes. We'll go to NordLayer.com and use promo code PrimaryTechnology10. Thanks to NordLayer for sponsoring this episode. All right, so our hopes and dreams for DubDub. Now, there is a couple. Let me go down to my notion there. You wrote an entire article, because you're an app developer now, about what you would hope for at DubDub. I'll share the Apple News article so everybody can read it. Tell us about your hopes and dreams.
Well, I just want here's the tough thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this balance. I mean, arguably WWDC, it's a developer conference, but none of the things that we just mentioned are developer features. All of these rumors are consumer-facing features, right? Do we get a new camera app? Do we see a redesigned thing? Do we get a new Siri app? Do we whatever? All that stuff's fine, but that's not really the point of WWDC. The point of WWDC should be, at least nominally, to explain all of the things that are coming to the new operating system, so developers can either build apps or tailor their apps for those things.
Right.
So there are two things I would like to see. One, I would like them to finally figure out this stupid app intents thing, right? Because that is the core promise that they made in 2024, was that there would be a framework. And we've already seen whatever MCP, all those this is a problem that can be solved. Right. The question is, will Apple solve it in a way? Well, will they solve it at all? Will their desire to do it in a very particular way defeat them, or will they be able to figure it out, or will they just adopt something else? Right? Any of those things are possible, but that is what will allow you to say to Dingus, hey Dingus, I know that I had a note in Bear from whatever. Can you just remind me what the name I wrote down was, or something like that? Like that's what you want to be able to do. Yeah. That is the killer feature. You can do this in Claude.
You can do it in Claude right now.
You can do all these other things, like whatever. It's just so that's I really want to see them figure that out. I know that there's an argument that like developers may not want to adopt this because they don't want you to just be able to shout out and be like, place my DoorDash order, right? Like I get it. They want you to open the DoorDash app or whatever. Like that's fine. I make an app. I'm happy for this to work. Why? Because it makes my app super useful, and it makes it more likely that you would store all of your information in it if you could get information out just by, like, who was at that meeting yesterday, right? Either it can find it on the calendar or it can find it in like my app. Okay, what were the 3 things that I said I was going to do from that meeting? Like, I just want you to be able to talk to Siri and get all that information out of the app. That, to me, is the promise. So that's one. I want to see them figure that out. And then the second one is I want them to make the private cloud compute version of foundation models, so the good version, available via API to developers. Because right now, the only Apple Intelligence thing that developers can use is on device. And it ain't great. I mean, for my app, I've been able to tailor it in a way that what it is doing, it's mostly capable of doing. Summarizing, pulling out to-dos, except the context window on the on-device Apple Intelligence model is like 4,000 tokens, right? Whatever. It's like a very, very small window. Yeah. So I have to build into the Pro Plan version, allow OpenAI. So it was really important to me to be able to have a privacy story, which was all this stuff happens on device. I don't even own any servers. I don't have anything to do with any of this. I'm not storing your data. It's all in CloudKit. I'm not processing anything. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But the Apple Intelligence model is too small. So I am going to make it possible for you to just, it's just one option, allow OpenAI, which all that means is if the model, if your note is too big for Apple Intelligence to handle it, it'll just, you don't have to sign into OpenAI. It just does it in the background. It doesn't remember any information. It's just doing that processing for you. There's no reason that shouldn't just be Gemini on a private cloud compute server somewhere and make that available to a developer. That will change that will change what we can see in small apps in a way that we have not seen on the iPhone in a long time. Because right now you have to figure out, like I had to build a Cloudflare worker,
Yes.
and I had to get secret keys, and I had to build all these things, and I had to do it all. That's fine. I figured it all out. But man, it would be so much easier if I could just be like, if small, do on device. If not, send to private cloud compute.
Yes. And I think we had several people reach out, and developers wanting something like that, similar, building that into iOS 27. So we'll see.
And charge for it. This is a totally reasonable thing to charge for. Did you hear that there's a rumor that they may charge for the Siri app intents thing to expose your app to Siri? You may have to pay over time. They have not I guess the report is they have not committed to not charging. But listen, this is Apple. Apple is literally never going to commit to not charging you for something.
Right.
Even if they're never going to charge you for something, they're not going to commit to not doing it. They're keeping their options open, people.
Right. I mean, that sounds strange, but anyway. You remember Apple used to charge for software updates. You used to have to buy OS 10 upgrades.
Yeah, $120 for
$120, a little
Lion or whatever.
Little box from the Apple Store. I think I still have my Snow Leopard.
CompUSA. I've been to CompUSA and bought several updates.
There you go. All right, so those are great suggestions. So I now have a rather lengthy list of my desires, and you can agree or poo-poo any of these. But for iPadOS and also iOS, usually these kinds of features go to both. But I'm hoping for some kind of API for clipboard managers and text expander expansion type apps, but using the built-in keyboard. Like, I don't want to use a third-party keyboard just for features like text expander. It's not a good experience. I'm never going to switch keyboards. And I've hacked a shortcut to kind of be a clipboard manager for me. I shared it in my action button video, where if I hit copy on my iPhone, I hit my action button, I run this shortcut, I can save whatever's on my clipboard to a data jar, and then I can do the same thing and then retrieve anything from that data jar list and put it back on my clipboard. So I kind of have like this quasi clipboard manager, but it's a pain in the butt. I would love for there to be just a built-in clipboard manager, which they brought it to macOS last year for the first time. It was the first time Apple had a first-party clipboard manager on the Mac, built right in Spotlight. And there's actually been a few times where I'm on my iPad and I will command space to do Spotlight, and I'll do command space 4 to try and get to my clipboard. And I have to remember, oh, that's not here on the iPad. Right. So I am hopeful that we'll see some kind of clipboard manager on the iPad, maybe even the iPhone. And also on the iPad, that control center, use more of the screen. I don't need a tiny little control center. Like, the iPad is a huge screen. Like, at least double, even if you don't want to go full screen on that control center for iPad, at least make it a little bigger, like 2/3 of the screen or something. Do you want either of those things? I think clipboard manager is great. Everybody should love a clipboard manager.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that I have ever felt like I was missing that on my iPhone, but it's probably just because I've conditioned myself to not anticipate that capability. I also realize that more often than not, I just copy things from my Mac to my phone.
Yeah, Universal Clipboard's great.
And there's a clipboard manager on my Mac. So I get a clipboard manager on my iPhone for free. It's just a little bit less ideal.
See, one of the things I do all the time is I will post something to a social media app, but then I have a link that I want to share, but I do it in 2 steps, because either I'm not going to post the link directly in the post on Threads because they're going to down algorithm that post. So I'll have the post on my clipboard, and then maybe I'll cross-post it to other platforms, and then I need to get the URL, and I have to, sometimes I do it out of order. This also, a lot of times with Instagram Reels, I'll post a reel with a caption, but then I need to set up a ManyChat automation with a URL, and then I need to go to TikTok and do the same thing. And so I'd love to just have a clipboard manager where I just because have it all there, and I could just go back and copy whatever. So I'm hoping for that.
For the text expander, though, do you not use the text replacement built into the keyboard?
I use the text replacement, but text expander is so much more than just that. Like, I have text snippets that insert the current date or adjust the date and insert that. So for Top 5 Tech, it's my weekly show that comes out every Friday.
Which is like a top 60 podcast already.
It was, yeah. The top 60. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. But yeah, please leave a 5-star rating and review, because I don't know, apparently somebody didn't like it. But anyway, it's a 4-minute podcast. How do you not like it?
It's a fake podcast. That's why.
It's a fake podcast. That's right. But no, text expander, like for Top 5 Tech, I have a little snippet where when I title my Bear note, I title the campaign name where I send the email out, that I do ;TFT for Top 5 Tech. And it expands to say Top 5 Tech spelled out, line separator, and then Friday's date. So it adjusts the date. So if I'm doing it on Thursday, it'll still be Friday's date, things like that. You can't do that with text replacements. You can't do those. You can't have like the clipboard, which I've done. I do this a lot too with Text Expander, where whatever's on my clipboard, insert it into this text string and then expand that whole string. And that's something that text replacements can't do. So I want that kind of stuff. Like, let Text Expander just be there behind the scenes like it is on my Mac, on my iPad and iPhone. That's probably less likely to happen, but I want it. Yeah. That's, All right, Mail. I know you don't use the stock Mail app, but I do. And this is from Eugenio on X. Their requests are snooze for messages. That's great. Great. Not just for Mail, but I think for messages too. Like, I need to keep this message unread, but I don't want to see the badge for the next 8 hours. Can I snooze this text message? That would be amazing. I mean, we have scheduled messages now, so maybe we could do that. Also, when a user is sharing their location, this is from Eugenio, show time zone in iMessage. That's a pretty cool feature. I had not thought of that. And the Mail, I've bemoaned about this a long time. Mail does not have a good snooze feature. They have the remind me feature, which doesn't take the message out of your inbox. It literally just, oh, sorry. I'm going to leave it in. But it actually, fine. All it does is put like a little reminder. So for whenever you said remind me, it sends you a notification about that mail at a certain time of day. But actual snooze, like in every other email app, it removes the message from your inbox and then makes it reappear at the time that you're snoozing to. I want that still in stock mail. And I use Sane Later folders for this, which works great in stock mail, but you use Spark, which isn't, so you just have that.
Spark is amazing.
Yeah, Spark. Yeah, I know it's great. It's great. It's great. Also, more shortcuts actions for Mail and automation triggers for Mail. We could get into the. I'm gonna talk about shortcuts. Yeah, let's talk about that. I have a ton of shortcuts requests. I'm not gonna go through it all. Matthew Casanelli, shortcuts guru. I learned so much from him. He requested folder groups in shortcuts or tags, which is a great idea because guys like Matthew and I have tons of shortcuts folders, and I'd love to be able to group those folders in certain ways. So I could put like podcasts, and I could put my primary Tech Mac Power users and top 5 tech shortcuts folders in a folder, or tag them in a certain way. So that's a great suggestion. There's also a bunch of different triggers that I'm hoping for. We've not had new automation triggers in a long time. Things like when a phone call comes in, do this. So I would love phone call automation trigger, weather triggers. So rather than have to set up a bunch of if statements, just say like when the temperature rises above this degree, do this. Automation weather triggers, repeat hourly triggers. I get a lot of requests from, I want this to run every hour, but in shortcuts right now, you have to set it up every hour. You have to say run at 8 a.m. daily, run at 9 a.m. daily, run at 10 a.m. daily. Automation repeats to go every hour. I actually had someone in my shortcuts community say they want a shortcut to run every 5 minutes, which sounds wild, but it's because they wanted to put information in an Apple Note so they have a report at the end of the day of some current status on their phone. That makes a ton of sense. So repeating automations more than just daily would be great. I have a bunch of HomeKit sensor requests like door left open automations. Let me be able, rather than do an if statement and wait commands and shortcuts, let me just set a notification for if this door is left open. Better reminders actions. And this is a side note. I'm playing around with Craft. You ever played around with Craft, Jason?
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody goes through that phase.
Everybody goes through that phase.
You do Obsidian, then you do Craft, then you go back to Notes for a while, then you try Notion, then you go back to Notes for a while, and then you end up at Contextly, and it's great.
I was wondering where you're going to land on that. Makes sense. I've tried Craft in the past, and this is Craft, not the cheese, not the K.
Correct.
But Craft has come a long way. I jumped in there because someone asked for a Craft shortcut, and I was like, wow, this design is really nice right now, and it feels very native, and it works great on the iPhone. And they added Kanban view boards, which is how I do my video stuff. And you were the one telling me you can't believe that my video project management is in reminders. I'm like, well, Craft might be a good deal. And so I wanted to try to move all my reminders to Craft and just see like how that could go. But Claude can't talk to reminders natively. There's no connector for Apple reminders. And so what I did, Jason, yesterday, sitting on my patio, did you see Federico Vitici released RemCTL?
Yeah, definitely not.
This is, he built a CLI for Claude and OpenAI to talk to Apple reminders. And so I will put the article in the show notes. Federico Viticci is just building wild stuff over there now. He released Shortcuts Playground. Then last week he just released RemCTL. But if you install this and get it running, it allows Claude or OpenAI to do all the reminders things. Create, view, edit, change. It does it all. I got this working. I could not tell you how to repeat the process because I have no idea what I did. I just kept asking Claude Code, can you make it work? What do I need to do? Like, tell me what to try. And to Claude's credit, that's all you have to do, and it will walk you through it, and eventually it was working. And then I asked Claude Code, okay, buddy, move all my reminders from my video projects list into Craft in the same Kanban style, using the same column names. Can you do that? And it said, I got it, bro. Not verbatim, but basically. And then it just did it, Jason. And this, one, it amazed me. Two, I'm going to be checking into Craft now because I was also building shortcuts using their API, and it's pretty easy and great. And C, or three, I forget which I did, it did make me realize like the switching cost to try a new productivity app is much lower now than it has been, because you can ask Claude or whoever, just move all my stuff and make it look like it does here, and it can just do it. And then you can try using a different app for a little while. And then when you want to go back or try something else, you could be like, now make it look like this is the updated version. Make it look like that. And I'm like, you can, there's no more are the days where you have to manually build your system in another app and just to try it. Like, you can just ask AI to do it. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, counterpoint, that friction was a good thing because it stops people from just having cruft everywhere.
Yeah.
And no, I mean this sincerely. First of all, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Craft wasn't for me, but not because it's bad, just because what I'm about to say. I am very easily tempted to try all of the things.
Yeah.
And I do have to try lots of things because in order for me to like write about something, I have to spend some time with it, right? But the fact that there's so much friction involved, I think is actually a good thing because it's like, do you have a system? I mean, in all fairness, if reminders works for you, I think that that's an abomination. I think that's insane, but I think you should stick with it because it is such a critical piece of your workflow, right? It is so important to what you do every day. And it's not just what you do every day, because you also make coffee every day, but that is not like how you feed your children.
Sure,
right?
sure.
It might be how you work yourself up to do the stuff that feeds your children.
It's important. It is
listen, my
important.
kids joke that I turn coffee into words, and I turn words into money, and then we spend most of the money on coffee. So it's just a cycle.
It's a circle of life.
But in reality, most people who are enthusiasts and like to tinker spend so much time and energy trying to try out a new system.
Yeah.
When in reality, it might be cool and fun. But I think that friction was good because there was a barrier. It was like that was built into how much better the new thing had to be to make it worth actually switching. Yeah. And now if you can just switch willy-nilly back and forth, like how much time do people spend doing that? And I'm just, no, this is why the only reason I made a new notes app is because there was an actual gap and hole in what I was doing.
Right.
And I don't know. The friction was good. That's all I'm saying.
I'm inclined to agree. Like, it would have taken an entire weekend before if you wanted to switch your productivity or project management app, and now it'll just take like 15 minutes. And maybe that lack of friction is not great, but it's going to get me to try Craft again. So
Sure.
it's great for them, I guess. But in that same vein, this was another post on social media. This was Rowan saying shortcut actions for scheduling messages. Great suggestion. So you can schedule messages now, but you can't do it through shortcuts. It would be great to schedule them through shortcuts. Automation triggers for reminders and calendar items coming due. This is a huge one. Would love this. The calendar items is big because so many times people have asked me for a shortcut that will activate a focus mode during a calendar event. And while you can, sometimes you see the suggestion on the lock screen and your iPhone will proactively say, activate focus mode now, people want to do it automatically and not have to think about it. And in order to do that right now with iOS 26, you have to create an automation that runs every hour that checks for an event on your calendar. And if there's an event, activate a focus mode and turn it off after that event is over. It would be great to just have an automation trigger to say, when a calendar event starts on these calendars, do this. Maybe it's activated focus mode. Maybe it's start a voice memo. Maybe it's whatever. Like, that would be great. And also, Rowan says shortcuts actions for Find My. I want to ping my AirPods from my watch. That's a great suggestion, too. There's not really any Find My actions in shortcuts right now for people or items, and that would be great. So, great recommendations there. Also, this is from Inman. Oh, he's going on to Vision Pro. I'm just going to run down some of my other shortcuts ones, and then we'll talk about Vision Pro. Do you still use it every day?
Every day. I've used it already today.
You did? That's amazing. Last shortcuts actions, rapid fire. Currently playing media. I would love to be able to discover, like, is a podcast playing? Is a YouTube video playing? What app is playing audio? And then be able to do if statements based on what media is currently playing. That would be nice. And Apple TV. Like, when Apple TV turns on, do this. You can set up automations to turn on Apple TV in shortcuts and automations, but you can't make an Apple TV turning on as a trigger. And that'd be great, because then I could just hit the Apple TV remote to wake my Apple TV, and it runs like my movie scene and just everything, run a HomeKit scene or whatever. So there's that. I would also love password. This is now moving out of shortcuts, but password app categories. So the passwords app in iOS 26 to be able to put, like, bank accounts, software licenses. I would love to be able to keep all that there like I do in 1Password. And I think you'll agree on this. Screen time. Just fix screen time.
Yes, 100%. If you don't say anything else the rest of this time, 100%.
That.
But why don't you just use secure notes for those things?
No, it's not.
You
it's
can
not
lock.
the same. No.
It's not the same, but it is that's the thing.
But, like, the password app makes it easy to copy and paste specific fields, like one tap, copy your password, copy your email, or autofill information. I would love for that to be built into the passwords app.
All right.
Because I do that a lot. Let me know what you think of this. I would love a standalone screen time app where you can manage your kids' requests, the screen time settings, and just all the screen time information, because there's so much buried in that one settings pane. I feel like it deserves its own app. And then notifications can come through screen time app rather than in dumb message conversations.
Yeah, that, by the way, is the worst thing that they've done.
Right.
I will say the best thing that they've done is the notification you get when your child uses a screen time password and you didn't even know that they had figured it out.
That is an excellent point.
Best thing they've done, although it to me is a little bit like they put the AI on the videos in YouTube. It's like, no, we're done. We told you. We don't actually have to fix this. We just let you know that it's even more broken.
Yeah, but a standalone screen time app. What do you think about that? You think that's a good idea?
I do worry about the idea, this philosophy that everything needs to be in a standalone app.
Sure, but like screen time specifically, because there's
screen
so much
time,
associated with
Siri, we got a passwords app, we got like there is a little bit of little bit of bloat
app bloat?
going. Yeah. It's like, why you got to pre-install this bloat on my device when you hand it to me?
But the screen time app, there's so much going on there.
Same thing's true with passwords.
But that also like it requires notifications and approvals and interaction, and like to be able to in a focus mode say, you know what, I don't want to get screen time requests right now. Like I want to, when I'm filming this video, not see a request for Plex. For once, I want to go through a video recording and not see a request. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, as a parent who just has mostly given up and said, whatever, children, just like, let me know if you get lost out there on the internet. No, I'm just kidding. I agree with you.
I get that sentiment, though. Totally get it. macOS, I just want to point out last year, one of my big requests last year was macOS shortcuts automations, and we did get that, which is wonderful. I would also like to see, this is not macOS specific, but iCloud/HomeKit, like just add all the HomeKit secure video features, like up to 4K cameras in HomeKit secure video, pan and tilt controls. Give us a web interface for seeing recordings from our HomeKit secure video. We need all of that. It's been I've been asking you for literally years. Because I've been asking for it since HomeKit Insider days, and we're still not there. So it's at least 5+ years. Hopefully we see that. Also, better HomePod management would be nice, all of that. But let's talk about Vision OS, because you use it every day. This request came in from listener and viewer, Inman33X. Jason and I may be the only ones that want continued support for Vision OS. No, I want to see it too. New environments, new content, sports for Vision Pro, which I feel like Apple's doing a little bit more of. I would love to see more environments. I think I mentioned that last year. Last year I wanted a YouTube app, and we did get that eventually, but more immersive content. Yeah. What would you like to see from
I
Vision?
would like environments to be portable. Like,
Portable.
I want to be able to read my mail in Avengers Tower,
Oh, yeah, sure.
which is an environment in the Disney Plus app.
Yes.
But I want developers to just, like, because wouldn't it be amazing if you could just have an app? Like, think about that. Like, somebody could just make an app with a bunch of amazing environments, and you could be like doing your Slack
That would be nice.
in Times Square or whatever. You like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I want them to do more of what you and I talked about. Like, I want there to be worlds you can explore.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that because moving is complicated. Like, you can't just be walking around your living room and then you break your shin because you tried to walk.
Use a
whatever.
controller, like pair it with a
Yeah,
controller.
there's a little bit of a motion sickness that happens there when you're in an immersive thing and you. It's like my kid can't play Minecraft in the car because bad things happen.
Well, the double motion or whatever.
So,
But that would be cool. And they have not launched. They did Jupiter last year. That was the one new environment, I feel like, and it'd be nice if they added way more.
I just think there is this ability when you are able to take someone and put them in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much you could do with that, and I just feel like we haven't gotten to that. Did you listen to Adam Lissengore on the talk show recently? Just like that guy, I don't know. He is way more into the Vision Pro than I am. Like, let's just be
he's very
honest.
bullish. He's very
He
bullish.
thinks this is amazing, and I agree that it's amazing. I just
Yeah.
don't think anyone else is going to think it's amazing, especially not at that price. And it is just so heavy.
Yeah.
But like they could solve the heavy by just getting rid of the front eyeballs.
And make it out of plastic.
That's what I'm saying. Make it
Yeah.
out of plastic and get rid of those front eyeballs. Guess what I never ever do, Steven? Wear my Vision Pro in a place where the eyeballs are necessary.
Well,
Never.
You never wore it on a plane. You
No.
could have had the flight attendant looking at your googly eyes.
Steven, I have actually talked to flight attendants recently.
Oh.
I have not met a flight attendant who has seen someone on a plane. The only people who wear them on planes are YouTubers for the views.
And you, Jason. It could be you. Tonight. You're flying tonight.
I'm not a YouTuber.
Are you taking it tonight?
No. First of all, I'm only going for 48 hours. So when am I going to have
That's
Vision Pro
wild.
time?
You're one of the few people who are like, I'm going to travel internationally, but for 48 hours.
I'm going to Monaco. I'm going to get there tomorrow, and I'm going to fly home Thursday.
That's wild.
I got a kid graduating.
I know. No, you got to be there for that. No, I know. It's wild. All right. I'm going to rapid fire. I said that before, but I'm going to do that now for all of our other listener requests. Dan Mills said, attach files to reminders, 100%. And deep link support. This is huge. If you want to do shortcuts and you try to do more productivity stuff, there are links to things like an Apple Note and a reminder, and Apple obscures those. It is so hard to get those. And you know they exist because you can drag a note into a reminder or vice versa, and there'll be like a little icon there that then you can tap and it'll bring you to the other piece of content. But there's no way to like right click and say, give me the deep link to this note. Because if you could do that, and if they put it in shortcuts actions, then you could do all kinds of amazing things. Like, I want to create a new video project. So create a new reminder here, create an Apple Note tied to that reminder, add the, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. So deep linking, huge, huge deal. Recommend. I'm also going to link this from listener Tech by Taz. He had a great article about some of his wishes. He wants more of a snow leopard year, which I do agree. We do need a lot of like stability, bug fix improvements, things like that. So hopefully we will see that. And no, I don't want to continue on Instagram. Greg C.Tech on Threads said home screen. He wants the ability to remove app names without making them bigger. Totally agree. More control over home screen sizing and app layout. Also agree. If you make large app icons on the Pro Max phone and you remove the search little box that appears on the home screen, there is a Grand Canyon space between the bottom apps and your dock. So 100%, it would be great to have more options there. Be able to change the dock based on focus modes. I love that idea because the dock is persistent no matter how many different focus modes and home screens you make. It would be nice to change those. And of course, more shortcuts actions, 100%. So that'd be fun. Ryan Off on Blue Sky said ability to hide the dock on iOS 27. More widget sizes. That would be cool. Even like a 1x1 widget, kind of like a shortcuts app icon. Transparent widget backgrounds with no borders. You have to do like hacky stuff to kind of achieve that right now. Lower App Store commissions. Sorry, Ryan. There's no way. There's no way we're going to get lower App Store commissions. But Ryan also said, he sent me a DM on Threads, and he would love to be able to code an app on iPhone or iPad which we talked about after Google I/O, like Google AI Studio. They're launching that app for both Android and iPhone, so you can vibe code apps on the device you're building it for. It would be nice to see that come to the Apple devices as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I mean,
you don't think so?
That I don't really. The iPad, sure, because it's in theory powerful enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think I'm trying to think of what the benefit of that is, because like the iPhone is not a great platform for coding apps. I guess maybe because then you could run them on device without having to do the weird physical connection or uploading them to App Store Connect just to download it on your phone. Like I get that. That is annoying and takes a while.
There's that, but also if you're doing it more with an agent than manually, if you're using the app that you're building and you're testing it and you come across a bug, to be able to swipe over to Xcode Mobile or whatever.
I mean, there is Xcode Cloud.
Yeah, but to be able to,
it's the same thing
on device.
Well, I'm saying you can go to X. Yeah, I mean, what my point is, for that use case, there is a solution.
But it would be nice to just go over to the app on your phone, type in the bug fix prompt to whatever AI chatbot building your app, and then reinstall the app and fix the bug immediately, basically.
And nothing's going to be immediately because
Jason agreed. If you're watching, you can see Jason kind of agree in his head, but he didn't want to say it. I saw that happen.
Okay.
See, exactly. All right, what do you want to do? That was our hopes and dreams. That was our listener hopes and dreams. There was this journalist Gurman talking about what's coming in 2027.
We can definitely hold that. We have a year and a half before that's going to happen.
Let's hold that. And so for personal tech, I already talked about REM-CTL, the Federico Viticci Claude thing. So tell me, you said Claude saved the day.
Yeah, well, it did. I mean, it's done multiple things for me, but this might be my favorite. So I, for a long time, tried to pay my daughter to do a job.
Okay.
I needed someone taking care. No, I needed something done. And she is a very busy, very, very, very busy. So like she was never going to be able to work at Chick-fil-A, right? Like she played soccer. She just does too many things. She's playing multiple sports, whatever. So I was like, I have a job that would be so perfect for you because I have this thing that I'm terrible at, but I would like done, which is I use Notion. We talked about this last week. I keep all of my articles in there. And typically when I am, there's a couple reasons for this. There was a time when I had a research assistant, so I would create something in there. I would put in a description, and then she would do the research for me. She'd give it all to me, and then I would start writing the article, and it was all great. So I put ideas into Notion. I have a Kanban board of things I want to work on, all that kind of stuff. But what usually happens is I just accumulate the ideas, and then I'll write the article and publish it, but like going back to Notion to do all that stuff is just kind of obnoxious. And so I was like, listen, I have not updated Notion with published links, traffic, all this stuff in like 18 months. Madison, who's my oldest daughter, I'm like, can I pay you? You can just do this whenever. Like spend 2 hours a week doing like whatever. I'll pay you $20 an hour. Yeah. So this is the best gig you're going to get. You got a laptop. You can just do it whenever you have time, and I will just hand you a fistful of money. And I just need and it's like super easy. Like
right.
I just need you to title, go to my author page, find the thing. It was never going to happen, and now she's graduating and she's moving out. So that idea did not come to fruition. Okay. And then I was like, hang on, you and I talked about Claude, all this stuff, and I said. I just asked Claude a question. I said, and this is a pro tip, just all of you. The first thing you should do anytime you want to get started with Claude on anything is say, I have a question. I don't want you to do anything yet. Yes. I just want to know if you can, and if so, tell me how. That's an important thing to start, because otherwise you ask Claude to do something and it just starts doing stuff. I'm like, I want to know what you're going to do first. So I asked, and it's like, yes, I can do this. Here's how it would work, and here's what I need for you. I can visit your author page, and I can just collect every article link, and I can just match them up with your database entries. And if there's one that's not in Notion, which there was like 130 that were not in Notion, I can just create it for you. I will look at the schema in Notion. I will do the best to match it. I might have some questions in the future, so let me know. Whoa. And it did the whole thing, and it probably imported 175 articles. No, it probably imported 275 articles over the last 16 months that I had never even put in Notion, because that's how bad I am at database management. And so now I have this full database that is completely accurate back to actually at this point it's accurate back to 2024. It was mostly accurate before that. I don't care. It's that old. But Notion has pretty decent AI, but because it's now connected, I can just ask Claude, hey, what did I have to say about this? Or have I written about the time that Tim Cook did this? Or have I, like that one time when Musk and Zuckerberg were going to fight, did I write an article about that, or did I only think about it? And it'll be like, well, you thought about it, and here was the research that you have, and they haven't talked about it in a while. I don't think you really want to write about this. You know what I mean? Like I can just, it was amazing.
That is, I'm getting to a place where there's been so many benefits of connecting Claude to the different things. I approve all the things. Like every time it says,
oh yeah,
I could do this, but I need permission. I was like, no problem, buddy.
It's like, if I could, I would just give you blanket permission. I trust you more than my children.
When I
clearly.
Right. When I was doing the REM-CTL from Viticci and setting it up, it was like, Claude was saying, I can do this, but I think I need full disk access. I don't think it said I think. It said I need full disk access. I was like, no problem. Yeah. Just tell me. What do you need? Where do you
want me to put it? I'm going to hand you my disk and put it in your pocket. You can have the whole thing.
You need my password. You need my iCloud password. You need two-factor code. Whatever you want. Let's just do it. It's just so, once you fall down the rabbit hole, it is pretty amazing just how much can be done. And I have found if you give it browser, I'm really close. So one of the things, I share videos about shortcuts on Instagram and TikTok. And I want to send the link to people. And this is why I might end up paying Meta the $50 a month or whatever, so I can actually put a link on a reel. We'll have to see. I know, it's ridiculous. But right now, I use the ManyChat service, which I'm paying $15 a month anyway for that. So, the ManyChat service, someone comments a word, and the ManyChat app automatically replies to their comment and DMs them a link. It works fine. It is how every creator on Instagram gets links to people, how they do it. TikTok does not allow this. ManyChat does not work with TikTok in that way. You can't comment on a TikTok and ManyChat automatically reply and DM you a link. It just doesn't have that feature. And the problem is I am not going to make two versions of every video. And so in the video, I say comment shortcut and I'll send you a link. And then immediately after, I say, if you're on TikTok, I put the link in the comments and here's how to get it. Jason, just wild guess. Do you think even after I say that in the video, do people still comment shortcut on TikTok?
Of course.
Of course. And people
5 out of 5.
And people get upset because they're like, I commented shortcut and you didn't send it to me. And I said, well, if you listen to the words I say, like if you can listen to the end of the TikTok.
There were more words.
I said, if you're on TikTok, do this, not that. But I'm not going to make two videos. So I've thought about telling Claude, doing a scheduled task, which you can do. So I could tell Claude to do this every hour, maybe just once a day, and just say, go to my latest TikTok. I post the link in the comments. So the link that Claude needs could be right there. And say, Claude, if there's a shortcut link that I've posted in the comments, take that link and just reply to every comment that says shortcut with that link. And I'm pretty sure it will be able to do that. And I'm very close to just doing it and seeing what happens. I'm not, like, I don't care enough about the TikTok account. I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine. But I'm also very close to, this is something David Sparks does, having Claude do like customer service type tasks for his membership stuff. So if someone needs to change their email or like reset their password, he has his robot do it. He has Claude do it. And like Claude will use the browser, go in the admin side of his website, click around to members, change their settings, and he has it on a monitor off to the side, and he does like keep an eye on it as it's working. But I'm not there yet, but I'm very close. I'm very close to letting it do that.
It was really funny when I had to do this. It came back and I was like, "How many articles do you want me to do? Your archive's huge. Do you want me to just run a test?" Or do you want me to do it all? I mean, that's a lot. I'm like, dude, shut up. You're a robot. Just do it. Like, I don't care. But then it did. It opened a browser tab in Brave.
Yes.
And this is my favorite part. It goes, so I've run into a problem. It seems like after a certain number of articles, the new articles are not available to me because there's a paywall. Hang on, let me just see if I can strip the exact JSON from the web page. And it did it. It just like pulled all the data directly from the JSON file.
You know what? Just
instead.
kidding. I got it.
It's like this seems to be a problem. But if you want me to just hack your articles, I'm happy to do that instead. And it just did it. But it did. It opened it up, and you could, if I would have clicked over to that tab in Brave, like I didn't start this task in Brave.
Right.
I started in CoWork, and it just opened a tab and just did its little thing.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
It is amazing. Still a tiny bit scary, but mostly amazing. And
Listen,
amazing
but the benefits of this, also, whatever, leak mine. Your train might train on it. You're doing it anyway. It's public. It's like all the stuff is published. Like I don't, whatever.
I do. Do you wish that Anthropic would make a browser itself?
No, because the Claude extension is just so good.
The Claude extension is very good.
So I ordered the other thing Claude saved the day. I ordered, so we have a Barista Pro, one of the Breville things, and a rock went through the grinder and it so it still grinds. That's not an uncommon thing when you're buying like beans. They're a thing because when they sift them out, like you could have a rock that's roughly the same weight or the same size. And anyway, and this has happened twice now, but the second time it will no longer eject grounds. It'll grind them. They just accumulate in the grinder. So I ordered the replacement parts from like one of those websites where you can do that. And they were back ordered and they just never shipped. And so I opened my order status in Brave and also back ordered. And I just opened the little Claude thing and I say, hey, here's the deal. This stuff has never shipped. Could you just find it for me? Yeah. And if you find it, will you just tell me where so I can buy? I didn't tell it to buy it for me. I don't know if it would have done that or not, but I was like, can you just find this for me? And it just said, here's where you can get this one. It's in stock. It'll ship and be here by this date. Here's where you can get this one. It'll be in stock and you can ship it by this date. And I just did it.
That's the thing. And I had to buy something for my fridge, like the ice tray or whatever, like the ice maker. I say, hey, I take a picture of the like the sticker inside with the model. I say, I need a replacement. Just find it. It just finds it. Just finds it. Listen, we're it's a fun time. Scary, a little bit scary sometimes, but it's a fun time. And we'll see what Apple does with all this next week. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing a special episode from DubDub. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eye on. I don't know when it's going to be because I still don't know. I don't know when we're going to get to record. So stay tuned for that. Locked in. If you support the show, which you can do with the link in the show notes and get it for $2.50 a month or $25 a year, you get the unedited feed, no ads, bonus content, Primary Tech Daily. There's going to be a number of Primary Tech Dailies generated by 11 Labs. I'm just telling you right now because I'm going to be traveling. It's busy at DubDub, so I apologize for that, but I'll be back in the flesh right after DubDub. But yeah, stay tuned. You can watch an Apple Podcast, YouTube, subscribe to the channel there, and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Didn't mention what you are hoping for DubDub, let us know in the reviews, and maybe you can, if your thing is actually announced, we can shout it out. So we're going to go record a bonus episode on travel stuff because you're traveling in like 12 hours now. So we're going to talk about that. Let's do it. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.